All right, y'all. Welcome to the 20th episode of Music in the Minor League. We did it. We made it to 20. It's pretty good. Man, we're proud of that. We didn't really know when we started this how long it would go or how much fun everyone would have, and response has been great. We really appreciate y'all spreading the word and making it go. So, what are we doing for this 20th episode? Like we did with the 10th episode, we had our friend Dan come in and we discussed influential records that got us. We realized music was something special to us. This week, we got our friends from Grifters Shills, who you may remember from episode 2, to come in and pick 3 songs that really made them pick up an instrument or just change the musical path they were on, the things that actually directly influenced their music. So that's what we're doing today. We're going through and we're each picking 3. So hopefully it's someone you never heard of and gives you some new stuff to listen to. There's also going to be a playlist that we link on Spotify with a song from each of the albums or the actual songs that changed our lives. And we hope y'all dig that. And before we start, our friends at Grifters Shills do have a brand new record coming out called Fireball. It will be out in exactly 17 days after this airs. That's part of the reason we had them in, because Health and Kim do both guest on the album. Health plays dobro on a song and Kim provides harmony vocals on a song. Really cool stuff. It was great to be a part of. I just provided emotional support because apparently I wasn't talented enough to appear on it. That's fine. We're not upset at all about that. Not a little bit at all. So before we get to the episode, we're going to go through a little bit of our housekeeping, and it goes like this. As always, if you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend about it. It's the best way to keep this going. If you're on Apple or one of the other ones that actually takes rankings, go ahead and give us 5 stars. That helps. I just noticed today we were at 9 5-star reviews on Apple Music. Wow. So 9 of y'all thought we were doing a good job, and that means a lot, and we really do appreciate it. Second, if you like Grifters Shills and the bands we talk about as we're naming albums, check them out online. Follow them. Give them some support. Go out to the Grifters Shills CD release shows. They'll be doing those on June 17th. They'll be doing an early show, I believe, at 2 p.m. at Cactus Music. That includes free beer. And if you go out that night at 9 o'clock, starts their show at the Big Top, or Shoeshine Charlie's Big Top Lounge, right next to the Continental Club. They'll be kicking that off with the Mighty Orc because we made a mistake and we will be out of town that weekend in New Mexico. Speaking of which, let's move over to our shows we have coming up. On June 10th, we'll be at the Naughty Beaver Hut in Crystal Beach, Texas for a locals festival. A lot of great music we'll be playing later in the evening. On June 16th starts our New Mexico short run. We're going to be on the 16th. We'll be at Pokey Pokey Cevicheria in Albuquerque, New Mexico from 6 to 9. On the 17th of June, we'll be at Ponderosa Brewing Company in Albuquerque, New Mexico, again from 6 to 9. And then on June 18th, we'll be at Little Toad Creek Brewery and Distillery in Silver City, New Mexico. We'll be there from 1 to 4 p.m. All right, and then the following weekend, we'll be doing 2 special full band shows. The first one will be June 23rd. We'll be at Shoeshine Charlie's Big Top Lounge with the March Divide and 2/5. That show kicks off at 9. Then the following day, we'll be headlining the Ace District Summer Music Festival in Baytown, Texas. Also appearing will be Grifters Shills, Daniel Lynn, Tony James, Michael Mike, and Nolan Shanks. That kicks off at 5. We'll probably hit stage about 8:30 to 9ish. Then that brings us into the beginning of July, and we'll get to that later. You can check out our tour date page to see what's coming up. We have some shows in Nacogdoches, here in Houston. We're going to Kansas, Tennessee, Arkansas, so there'll be some good stuff coming up. So we hope y'all check that out. Speaking of all the good stuff we have coming up in June and July, we're probably 99% sure we're going to go back to a once every other week format for the rest of the summer, just because we're recording an album, playing a lot of shows, so we're not going to be able to keep up with it every week, but that's fine. Once everything calms down in the winter, we'll come back with once a week. I think that gets us there. So now we're going to kick off with a song from the new Grifters Shills record. This one is called Live on Purpose and features our very own Kimberly Barker on harmony vocals. We hope you dig it, and we'll see you on the other side with our conversation. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
To where I'm going, but remember where I've been. Walk among the
All right, everybody. Welcome to our 20th episode of Music in the Minor League.
Woo!
95% of podcasts would have given up by now.
Wow.
We're too dumb to do it.
Too dumb to die.
Is that a real statistic? Or?
No, yeah. I mean, most it's something like 50% drop out within the first, or it's like 70% by the third episode.
Wow.
So we're kind of kicking ass. We're pretty amazing.
And dragging this dead horse across the finish line.
Right? We've got people waiting to come in because we're kind of a big deal.
We're like Studio 54. It's all empty on the inside.
Right? But as we started out with our 10th episode with Dan, we said every 10 episodes we get together and we talk about some influential music or just have a moment for us as a band. Bring in friends or bring in someone who's led us through the perilous world of independent music and has been a guiding light. And we're back today with two of our guiding lights. Also, you may recognize them from our second episode, John and Rebecca Stoll of Grifters and Shills.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
We already know about their bands. We really don't give a shit at all about their music right now. We're here to hear about what made them play music. So we're going to talk a little bit about just, life and happiness and all those type of things. Then we're going to get into we're each going to go through the 3 albums / songs where it was like, I'm going to play music that made me pick up a guitar, or that made me start singing, or that made me take the path that led to here.
Yes, we've had a lot of people actually, when we ask, what keeps you working in music, maybe it was this song that inspired me, or to pick up a guitar or a bass or whatever it is you start with. So this is a cool review.
Except for someone didn't do their homework.
It's okay.
Luckily, I can think on my feet.
And we've had this
But you're sitting
discussion
down.
enough.
My feet are still on the floor, dude.
Barely.
She's not going to lose this.
Dang.
So before we get started, I'm going to let the other 4 people in this room talk about John and Rebecca made a new record. It's coming out in approximately a month, like 5 weeks from now.
Yeah.
As the person who was not talented enough to appear on said record, I will let the other 4 people discuss the process of making it. So
I'll
tell
give you a
us more
topic. I
about
was not
your record.
invited to this album. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Talk among yourselves.
There's no passive aggression in here at all.
It's fine. It's fine.
If butthurt was a soundbite, we just got it.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm fine.
Just arrange an entire song to make it not friendly to my part. It's fine. It's fine.
Not friendly to my
Your part's so much better live. Like we didn't want to squash that,
We didn't even have anybody else doing your part in the studio because it can't be done unless it's live by you.
It's so hard to capture your energy in the studio.
Exactly.
Yes.
If Sam was a chimney, he'd have smoke coming out of him right now.
I'm I can relate to this. I'm like I'm the chubby lubber you call, but you're not going to take out to dinner or anything. It's like,
Ouch.
I'm just looking to hook up, man, but I can't really let my friends see you.
Right.
It's okay.
It's like riding a moped. You don't want your friends to see you riding it, but it gets you from point A to point B.
We'll do it live, but I can't have you on, I can't really have you part of the track listing or anything.
I can't commit this to permanent record.
It's complicated.
No, but that's just me being hateful. That's just, that's just me trying to start adversarial. But the key is John and Rebecca have made a hell of an album because we got to hear it. That was my role is as
The ear.
almost basically God on their record who was like,
Okay.
no, the record shall go back and be remastered. But instead I was like, it sounds good, man. Y'all did good. After about the 5th time, I sent it back and they have it. And it's
But that's important, dude, because y'all know from doing an album, you don't know what you're listening to by the time you've been doing it a while.
Hell yeah.
You need someone who you can trust to say, don't do that, do that.
Oh, you get blind to it, and you get fixated on little stuff that no one else is even going to notice or care about. And
Exactly.
And the day you said, yeah, it's good, I was like, oh, shit, it's done.
I wasn't
that
ready.
means it's done.
I wasn't ready. I was waiting for
And
you
then
to tell
that's
us
the
all the things
important
to
thing.
change.
It's the stop.
Yeah.
Because you'll tinker with it forever.
Well, remember you told me don't mess with it. I was like, but I had this idea, and you're like, do not touch it. So anyway,
You're blowing it, bro. Don't do it.
it was appreciated.
No one's going to hear that, 1/10 of a decibel of snare being added in. But really just at 2 minutes, 5.3 seconds, the snare just doesn't crack right through the same. So I'm just going to go in and bump that one up. This is a real thing I've done.
Oh, I know.
That one snare hit just it kind of got drowned, so we need to boost that one just a touch.
And now it just really tied the song together.
Because if anyone's listening and they're like, snare hit, because when you listen to music, you're like, pay attention to every snare hit.
I
and make sure
count.
it's perfect.
Yeah, I count when I listen to music.
Definitely.
It's like, oh man, that snare hit was not the same as the others.
I got a PPM meter in my ear. I can tell like from note to note.
Yeah, you guys have similar ears, which is why it works really well that you kind of feed off of each other's feedback. Because I hear
I'm
stuff
just
and I'm
staring
like,
at
I
their
don't
ears
hear
now.
that.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Like immediately she said the ear thing. I'm like, do they match? Do they
I
match?
actually did look. Like
Okay.
they do not look the same.
Oh, not.
I know.
Because the full frequency
We
range has
related?
been destroyed by live music, by playing live. That's like all these really weird frequencies I can hear way better.
Yeah.
Because all the uppers and lowers, like all the external ones are all dead. It's just only like the mid
Is
range.
that vocal range?
So it's like, oh, that sounded
Still
weird. You don't
learning.
hear that where like, or one time where like I brushed, I guess, a mic on one playing acoustic and I just went, I was like, oh my God, do you hear that? She's like, I don't hear that at all. I'm like,
Yeah, you had to play it for me like 14 times before I heard
And it's
it.
like it's all you can hear. Like,
And she's totally still lied about, I totally hear that. Yeah, totally.
Oh no, I
Just
can hear
stop
that little
playing.
smut. But I also think I have like just a tiny bit of hearing loss. Yeah, I'm
I
old.
couldn't
y'all,
find that.
so-
I couldn't find it again now.
No.
That's the thing. Once you take like a month from listening to it and you put it on, you're like, I don't hear any of those mistakes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you where they were unless I wrote it down.
yeah.
So, by the time the album comes out, y'all be close to that. So, tell us a little bit about this new record y'all have. What's it called?
It's called Fireball, and that's our title track. I think it's track 4. And it's a neat collection. When we first started looking at how this was going to come together as an album, we both kind of thought these songs aren't going to go together. Like it's just going to be arbitrary. But we thought, well, the long form album is it's not as popular now, so maybe just putting this collection together, arbitrary or not, it'll fit the streaming kind of environment. But as they came together, they started really making sense cohesively. I think a lot because of the energy that's throughout them. Even the slower ones still have that tension. And I don't know. I'm really pleased with the whole package as a whole. It's really come together and found its feet.
The first song on it was the first song written on it was the first track as well. We started writing that one like just before the pandemic, like right before the shutdown. When we had moved into this house that we're in now, and we were like,
Oh, wait, you should tell them about the house you're in now.
yeah.
Yeah, about how that worked out real quick.
You mean the studio and everything?
No,
And-
just the fact that you weren't even planning on buying a house that day. You're going for the free beer at the
Oh,
open
true.
house.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So briefly, we live in this house in Clear Lake, and like we got a flyer on the door that said free beer for an open house, and it was Father's Day. It's like if you're a dad, it's like, well, I'll be honest, I'm not going to say I'm a dad, but we'll go look at this open house because it's 7 doors down. Walk down the thing. It's kind of late in the open house. The agent or whatever. Like, you want a free beer? I was like, well, I'm not a dad. And she's like, it's cool. I have extra. So I was like, thanks. And we looked around at the house. We're like, this house is perfect. And it's right down the road. If we have to move, we can just carry our stuff down. But we don't need to move. So we just put in like this low offer or whatever. And by God, they said yes to it. And I was like, well, crap, now we got to move. Let's go get our stuff.
Turns out that beer was not free.
It was not free.
That's a great agent right there. Like she saw you come and was like, oh, I'm gonna get this sucker.
Yeah. So like shortly after that, we move into this house and we had to carry like 2 mortgages for like 3 months or something like that. And we are not those people. So we're like eating beans for 3 months. Like we're
Yeah.
just like
Yep.
literally.
Stress was like at its
Oh
will.
God,
Yeah.
it was terrible. I don't know how anybody has 2 houses, but that's beside
Rich
the point.
people.
I guess.
See, that was our problem.
And so we wrote the first song, Hell's Half Acre. Was trying to make it old time. And so like that's where it started. And we're like, all right, everything is hopeful. We've got this new house. It's got this like half finished attic we can, do music in. And 2020 is going to be awesome. And then of course it just, someone hit the big flush knob and the whole world went in a big circle. And then like we just started like writing songs during the pandemic. What are we going to do? Like we're just got to keep on going. So we just started writing. So most of this album was written during the pandemic, various phases of it as it came and go, and when it was over and it wasn't over and all that stuff, and everybody's confused. And so like that's really the story of this thing. It's like that's where it came from was the pandemic, which is also why we're anxious to get this album like out of the house and like let's move on to new things.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it really does feel like a time capsule, and
Yeah.
it'll be good to stop reliving that in some ways. And it's exciting to have them all together, but I want to move on to whatever's next.
Yeah.
Plus, the pandemic's been over forever, you guys. Don't you know that?
Oh, right, yeah.
Since like
that's
last
right.
Friday, right?
No, it is. It's officially over now.
We
Corey.
won. Okay, we won.
So it's done.
Yeah. Take that.
We're
Only a
something.
few 100,000 people die. It wasn't a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a big deal at all.
But I will chime in and just say that, yeah, I really like how it sounds. Of course, we've been hearing the songs played at live at shows, so the different arrangements were really interesting. And you played drums on everything, you crazy man.
It was rough. It's not. It's just take a chance on it, y'all. Just take a chance.
On learning a third or fourth instrument.
Well, I think probably my favorite part too is that like we so for listeners that don't know, us Grifters and Shills and Brightwire like teamed up on a tour last year in 2022 and trying to make it evergreen. And to team up on it, we had these two like dates where we only had a single 45-minute slot, so we combined our sets. So we learned their songs, they learned our songs for half the set, and we ended up like starting doing things that way because we had never really done that live with any other band. And those ideas that we kind of like formed in that time frame in 2022, like carried over into the album. And it's kind of neat the way you never know how anything is going to work. Any young musicians out there listening to this, try every idea you think of. Don't ever be afraid of anything. Just go for it.
Yeah.
'Cause you never know, something might stick in a way that, that you might have been too afraid to try.
Oh, when you first suggested, hey, let's do that at these shows, and I was like, oh crap.
I think everyone outside of John panicked.
Yeah.
I was like, we
pretty
got
much.
a month. We got like
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of time to get it together.
I
but-
blew it off like, whatever, dude, I can do it. And then John sends his damn notes over, and I'm like, what is this crap? Like, what is all this stuff?
And they weren't even accurate.
no.
Right, then
That's
they weren't.
true. I don't-
Yeah, I remember the first practice. I'm like, dude, this is all wrong. What's going on?
I didn't send the decoder ring. That's the
we
problem.
had not finalized the arrangement on Live on Purpose until we started.
It was y'all that did it.
together.
Right,
Y'all
this is
forced
how
the
this is gonna
issue.
go.
Like I don't know how she does it, but I have to have it squared out. Like I need to know what's next.
When you sing or play with other people, you got to know what's coming.
That's
Exactly,
true,
man.
It's true. That's why I do it the same way every time we do it live.
Oh, you're going to start doing that?
Right. I was going to say, when is that going to happen?
It's amazing once you record something, though. You have to play it those 1,000 times as you record it. It's like, okay, it's locked in now.
That's
Yeah,
how it goes.
That's
now.
how this goes, because before that, yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to sing different lyrics every time. I'm going to do this. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes even after it's recorded, like, these lyrics are a living, breathing thing.
I'm going to change this.
I know you're singing harmony to the old lyrics, but I'm going to just change that up. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I'll learn.
They're never done. The songs are never done. Just at some point you stop messing with them.
That's why you hit like distribute on your album, like push it and just make it done. That way they're out the door and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, kind of like how Sam pushed distribute on our podcast before it was ready. Let's do this.
I
not
needed the
quite like
RSS feed information, and I was like, oh, yeah, if I click this, I get the RSS feed. And it was like, oh, cool, that published our first episode.
Well, there we go,
Well, it's
kids.
fine. Everyone got to listen to it over Thanksgiving. It was great.
Oh, that's right.
But it did give us 2 months between the initial preview and the thing, where it was only supposed to be a month. I think it was like 6 weeks, but whatever.
But you guys put yourself on a timeline, so you could finish and distribute by a certain date, right?
We did. It was in February? We booked the release show.
Yeah.
And we billed it as the release show. Like I was Alan over at Big Time was like, this will be an album release show. And he's like, great, I'm excited. And I'm like, I'm terrified. Because
have
now
we
we
done?
have
We have
to be
nothing
done.
done.
But we've
Yeah.
done that multiple times. Just book the release show well before the record is done. And you have to meet it. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
about
Choice.
it.
That's a good way to doing it, though.
Yeah.
But of course, then y'all also, that kind of got y'all with Pretty Little Secrets, because
I did.
it was like, cool, man, we got this. And then it was like, oh, by the way, finals backed up. That's not going to be in until
Yeah.
like 3 months after the show. And right when your records show up, oh, yeah, we're just going to shut everything down, my buds.
I know.
Good luck selling those bad boys now.
Poor little album. We're going to have those vinyl filling up that spare bedroom for years.
2 more years and you get to do the special five-year anniversary thing with it.
True.
And then, you just
Just go in and
I
autograph
always
all of
forget.
them or something.
People like
put a
those.
sticker on them and be like, this is the 5-year anniversary
Yeah.
reissue of the record.
People like their
Wink,
5s and
wink.
10s, you know?
Yes, they do.
We went back and just changed nothing, and here it is.
Right.
That's
But
right.
it's got this sticker on it now.
It says
Right.
5-year anniversary edition.
It's a shiny sticker. People love that.
So
And you can try the new download codes that come with it, which by that time will be completely irrelevant.
what y'all do is y'all go back and record some fake acoustic versions of a few of the songs, and then on Spotify or something, release the 5th anniversary with demos. And then
there you go.
here's the vinyl of the album being re-released, and that's it. It just flies off the shelf.
Man,
Probably should not have put all this tape.
was gonna
This is-
say,
I'm
are you
giving
gonna
this
cut this
great
out,
idea
or-
away for free.
I mean, dude,
Our
that's the best
marketing
part. People
boys.
listen to this podcast. Like the last few episodes have been great insight.
It's true, man. Brent was laying down all of the,
The facts.
marketing
He
and
was.
stuff. So when's the album hitting the streets?
June 17th.
Yep.
Oh, that date sounds
So-
familiar.
So y'all are putting that out. Yeah, it's actually coming out online the day of y'all's CD release.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come out online that same day, and then we'll do a Cactus Music in-store at 1 o'clock that day,
Nice.
and then Big Top that night at 9.
Oh, so I can catch you twice in one day.
That's right. That's right.
We could, but
You can't.
we're in New Mexico
How did that happen?
because
I'm throwing you under the bus tonight.
no, it actually was my fault. I was in the act of putting that tour together and did not put it on our shared calendar yet because it wasn't 100%. I didn't put it as like a pending thing, which I've learned now. Now when things are even pending, it's like pending possibility. It's like, all right, what are y'all doing on this day? It's like, we're gonna be in New Mexico. It's fine.
Well, we also wanted to give you guys the
'cause Health
opportunity
and
to play
Kim-
with someone else.
Help
And realize
Kim
how
went
good
and
we
done
are
their part.
with you.
That's good.
But now they have to release it without y'all showing up and doing y'all's part on the songs y'all
I know,
played.
that's kind of
right.
a bummer.
I mean, it's not important that I'm there, but for you two.
I mean, no,
It is.
live. It's good
Live,
that you're there.
yeah.
Live,
Gotta
it's
be. That's-
critical.
Right. It's
That's the whole
Nobody's
deal.
gonna stomp around and
Never
yell.
again. No,
Orc's not gonna do it.
just sitting arms crossed to the back. No, no.
Hey, Sam, would you mind? No.
no.
To do my hair.
That's all
Be
right.
able to resist. He would
My
explode
contribution,
onto the stage.
my contribution to the album was the fact that I played drums on our stuff, and then John was like, "That idiot can do it."
You're welcome.
I can do this all day long.
I can stumble over this bar.
It's like, okay, cool, we got this, and it's like, and then he did. So whatever.
What song are you on? What song are you on the album?
Live on purpose.
Live on purpose.
Okay.
Says
The
it's
one that we
beautiful.
sing live.
The high harmony.
The one that they heard right before the episode started.
Yes. It will be playing.
Right. Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yes.
That will be put in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good. So
What
we've
song are
heard
you
about
on?
your done
Oh, what
new
song am I
album.
on?
Yeah.
All this
I'm
stuff.
on New Year's Day.
Okay.
Eve.
Oh, sorry, New Year's
yeah.
Eve. Sorry.
New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
right.
but it was-
and I
it was-
actually have heard that. I
And
don't
it
know
was
why I
it was a
asked you
funny
that.
story too because I was sitting there waiting, like maybe I'm not getting a phone call. It's cool. I'm fine with it. Sam didn't get a phone call. He's cool with it. And then I got the phone call. I was like, I'm not telling Sam.
It's all right. Tom Brady wasn't drafted either.
Well,
He's
everybody
also
thinks
not
it's
married
so-
either.
So cool to be asked to,
Right.
to guest on someone's album. I had to, somebody was jealous the other day. I had to tell them that y'all locked me in a closet for like an hour, and I was sweating, and it was terrible.
It's hot in there.
Who you
They were
telling
like,
that
"Oh
to?
yeah, I don't want to work with them."
It was in the room with the litter box in it, too.
It wasn't in the
So was that Randy
closet.
never talked to you about being locked in the closet? Yeah. So I was like, I don't care. I was like, whatever, dude. It's where you belong.
Well, we didn't want her to change her mind and leave. So.
Right.
To get out, you must deliver a perfect take.
Leaving the litter box there is a good move, too. It's like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
Those fumes waft under the
Oh,
door.
stop.
But again, John Stoll was John Stoll, and so he sends me the file with the notes in it, and it's like everything. And I'm like, what? So I immediately closed it. I was like, I can't look at this. It's going to overwhelm me. And so when I went to go record, I was like, I got to be honest. I've listened to the song, but I haven't practiced the song because I was just overwhelmed. He was like, no problem. So we started doing it. And then we're in the middle of recording or going through it. And there's a whole part he forgot to put in. Like in notes for me, I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Practicing wouldn't have done any good anyway.
It wouldn't have done any good.
True.
So
Mine
it's
made it
okay.
worse.
Well, that's just, that's a surprise improv thing. You never know what comes out. Like,
True.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
And
gotta,
it's-
helps you think on your feet.
It's called jazz.
It's all right. Health didn't really practice at home anyway.
I really don't. Great.
Because most of the time, the Dobro's sitting in my living room.
Well, I have more than one.
That's right. You do have the mule that you're too ashamed to bring into public.
I'm just too angry to bring in public. Like, if they ever hear this, they're going to be like, what's he talking about?
It's okay. I think you've complained to them, and they were just like, send us more money. We'll send you what you ordered.
Right? Yeah. Thank you for the hole in my $3,000 guitar. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But it's cool, man. It's cool. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I'm just not a big enough name yet to have that kind of clout and be like, no,
Right.
you give me what I want. I'm just too nice. Like, oh, I'll take it. It's fine. I waited 2 years for it. It's fine. No big deal. Just happy to be here. Like Charlie Buckets.
This is great. It's fine.
It's great. Brought Grandpa Joe with me.
All right. Enough of their album. We're done. I don't really want to talk
Oh,
about
we
it
don't want to talk
anymore.
about that anymore. Okay.
I don't either. I'm tired
We're
of it.
moving on.
Next thing.
So here's where we're at. This is why y'all tuned in today, to find out why we play music and to get some recommendations on great bands to inspire you. Right? That's it.
Oh, now I'm embarrassed because.
Oh, it's okay, dude. You get to show how uncool you are. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Same thing. Most of the bands I'll probably name people are like, who? It's fine. It's not a big deal, man. That's what we're here to do. So the goal was to come up with the 3 bands at, like I say, at various points, or artists, either song or album that kind of got you fired up. Like when you heard, like, first time you went out and bought a guitar, it's like, I heard this and now I need to own a guitar like that guy has. And even after you played her, that's where you're like, oh man, like I heard this band and now I'm going to start playing like this, or I'm going to go, do something different. I want to try this style, where you're not just like, being a kid, just myself, if not punk rock or metal, it's not cool, dude. I'm not going to listen to this lame, folky, like acoustic stuff. Then stuff happens and you change your mind. And, even before you become an old man, just don't want to play loud music anymore.
Or carry heavy amps around anymore.
Right, exactly. So just what y'all missed during this little jump was we had a pretty hardcore game of rock, scissors, paper, and Mr. Michael Helfenstein.
The second. All right. So I had to go all the way back to like what first got me into playing music, and I started out on trumpet, right? And so the first album that I heard, oh man, this is a good one, or embarrassing, I don't know, either way, it was the album The Lonely Bull by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Like, there was something about that, man. I was like, that's a sexy sound. I was like, okay. And then like a few weeks later I was put in band and they're like, you're gonna play trumpet. I was like, oh shit, it's lining up. And
This is my future.
this is it, and so that's that album. And that album has there's a bunch of other good songs, but The Lonely Bull, the title track, is like my favorite song by him. So that was it. And then I was a band nerd from then on out. So, it happens.
Nerd.
Pretty
I was a
much.
choir nerd, so.
So tell us about you, Kim. What was the first one you're like, I want to sing. I want to be a singer.
Well, I made Sam listen to it yesterday, and he was like, you're going to make me listen to this in my own car, like, on my own sound system, on my own Spotify account. This is going to mess with
My algorithm.
my algorithm.
No.
I want to say when I was like 9 or 10, maybe 11 years old, my mom got me a really cool gift for an 11-year-old who's into big band singers and Broadway music. And I was the weirdest kid. She bought me for Christmas the entire set of that Just for the Record Barbra Streisand thing that she put out. And I got that. And there is a recording of Barbra Streisand playing with, I don't know if it's Stephen Sondheim. Someone is playing piano with her, and it's just her and the piano, and like her voice is like so incredibly dynamic. I was like, one of these days I'm going to have enough muscles and enough range to be able to do that. So that was it.
What was the song?
Yeah, it was called "What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life?"
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was hoping matchmaker, make me a match.
I've never seen Fiddler on the Roof either.
But see, that's my Barbra Streisand and I grew up with that. My mom made me listen to that. So it's
Oh
okay.
yeah, dude. My aunt made me listen to that. My mom. Yeah.
She's an iconic voice.
I liked, what was the one? Hello Pussycat, is that her movie? What's that one's called? Or something like that. Something Pussycat.
What's New Pussycat?
What's New
Yeah.
Pussycat? That was a good movie. I like that one. She was cute in that. All right, so now we're moving on to our guest,
Yes.
Rebecca Stoll.
Yeah, I had a hard time narrowing it down. I think the first artist album that I came across that kind of led me into what I wanted to do as an adult was one night I was working. I was pulling an all-nighter because I thought I needed to care about my job back then. And I had my Pandora going because streaming was new. And the song came on that I had not heard before. And it was this nice, droney, kind of gritty, folky song. And I love the voice. And it was Gillian Welsh. And the song was One Monkey. And that is not a popular song of hers. The album is Soul Journey, and it's my favorite of her records. I love that one. She put it out in, I think, 2003. And it was kind of a step away from what she had done in the past. It had a little more electric sound in it. And it didn't really fit the silo of the Appalachian sound that she was more known for at the time. It just had a little more grit and a little more teeth to it. And so that song in particular is what opened the door for that record for me. And I just fell in love with that album and her voice in particular. It was a huge early influence for me. I listened to everything of hers I could possibly find after hearing that album. And to this day, that's still one I'll put on and just listen to start to finish, and you know every word, every song, and it's just one that's so comfortable for me to listen to and sing with, and that's probably my first real influence into what led me here today.
Nice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Oh, so I showed Kim, about a year or so ago. I was like, you ever heard Jillian Welch? Like, you need to check her out.
Yeah, I had not. But
Her and Dave
now I have.
Rawlings together, killer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Mr. John Stoll.
For me, so I guess the first one for me in terms of like what made you want to like just go crazy and like all you can think about is music, which is kind of me all the time. But like, like when I was very first starting to play guitar, was in 92, 93. And of course it was the grunge thing happening then. And I played a bunch of the songs, cover songs from Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that. But I think it was my aunt gave me 3 cassettes, and it was the first 3 Hendrix album, Electric Lion, Axis, and Are You Experienced, in the backwards order. Because for me, like I liked that taught me like this is how good a guitar can sound, and not just the player. Obviously, he was good, but like the recording of it, like the actual like limitations of technology and what was going on. That was at the same time that I started going to recording school, and so at the same time I was discovering Hendrix, and so of course I bought a 100-watt Marshall. Like as a broke college kid working in a gas station making minimum wage, like I have to have a 100-watt Marshall.
Realistic.
Oh yeah, and all good also for playing in small bars, like
100%.
just perfect tops. But I got to open it up in the studio, and so that was always fun to watch the instructor go, "Oh, great, here it comes." And specifically, the Hendrix stuff that I got into on Electric Ladyland was a song called 1983. That song, if you are into recording at all, if you're into electric guitar, anything, 1983 is a masterclass. A lot of people talk about the Beatles and all these other things that were going on in recording, but 1983 for me is a masterclass in guitar tone and in how put on a set of headphones and listen to that song. And if you've got any bug to record audio ever in your life, that's all you will do, because it was all done manually. It was one of those like 4 people bent over a console doing things.
Oh, wow.
And so it kind of like at the same time made me want to like play guitar and forever never play guitar, because I just loved the way the vibrations in the ear were when they were loud, but also recording. Like it was everything in one song.
Nerd.
Automation be
It was
damned.
so good. And we got so high so many times listening to that song.
We had
there's
we
the
had
truth
a trumpet
right there.
story, but I was like, nerd.
Well, wait a minute. Trumpet's a cool instrument. Don't talk it. Like, who carries the melody? The trumpets. Yeah, thank you.
The singers.
All right.
I guess we're getting to Sam now.
So what led me, the initial thing that made me go out and buy an instrument. So we were staying at my friend Nathan Norman's house. Everyone had kind of passed out, and we're sitting there, and like, late night MTV came on, and what was it? Primus doing Mr. Crinkle came on, and I was like, ooh, that's creepy. Like, I want to do that. Like, that's cool. Like, that's wild. Like, that big thing. And then so right around that time, like, I swear, like a week later, I was at my brother's, him and his roommates, and one of them, Zach, had like their first 2 albums, like Frizzle Fry and Suck on This. And I was like, oh, that's that band. Like, I put them on, and I was like, ooh. And this is probably right before my birthday. And so I went through the liner notes, and I was like, okay, cool, Mom, what I want for Christmas is a 6-string fretless bass. Because that's what the dude from Primus plays. I had no idea. Luckily, Spice Good Music in Beaumont only had 4-string fretted basses, which was way more my speed.
And learnable.
Yeah. So I went, and that was when for my birthday, luckily one of the few good things my ex-sister-in-law did was she kind of went and flirted with the sales guy and got the $25 off we needed to purchase the bass.
Nice.
And that was it. And I had my PV Fury, basically P-bass rip off, and that was what led me to start playing music. And I very quickly got home with it, and this kid we knew showed me like the little tap part. He's like, dude, I know how to play Here Come the Bastards. Like, tap, tap, tap. And after that, we're like sat down with some Primus records. Like, yeah, man, this isn't who I am. And this is bigger than me. But you know who's got a cool bass line I can learn today? Violent Femmes. I was like, I got that. So I had like Country Death Song and Blister in the Sun by like, the next day. I was like, I got this. And then after that, I was like, punk records were easy to play along with. But yes, that was it, man. Then I started playing bass guitar. I was like, this is the thing.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, so we'll go with Primus. Probably, yeah, Mr. Crinkle, but like Frizzle Fry and Suck on This, which were kind of like a live EP and first record.
Gotcha.
All right, moving on to back around the horn.
All right, so round number 2. Okay, so after I played trumpet, I realized The women weren't beating down my door, so I probably needed to switch instruments to something a little more acceptable.
Sexy.
So I picked up bass, and like right before I picked up, I remember I listened to this album, picked up on the bass on this album, and I realized like I could play this. Like, this is like literally like the little bit of music theory that I had from trumpet. I was like, there's not a lot of notes here. Like, this is easy. And it's the album Static Age by the Misfits, and specifically the song Some Kind of Love. Like that song, like that was like the first like kind of cover song that I learned, and I was like, oh, I'm good. This is where I should hang out. Like, I've got this now. And so from there on, it was like bass player Helfenstein. Here I come. Still played trumpet, but you know, trumpet paid the bills or got my mom and dad off my back. Bass didn't bring the ladies either. Actually, let's be honest here. Like, it's not sexy.
Oh,
No female in the crowd's like, I'm going home with a bass player. Like, it's like, I guess I'm going home with a bass player.
I've never gone home with a bass player.
Thanks.
John Stoll has.
Yeah, this is true.
Every
He goes home
night.
with a bass player every night.
Well, and Sam does play bass.
He has a type,
I guess,
apparently.
technically, but- yeah.
People who play that low end for.
All right, so
right.
this is going to be super silly, but
Please let it be.
It's
it really
okay.
is the truth. I think the soundtrack album to that movie FX like made me want to get a keyboard.
Wait, the Emilio Estevez movie?
I don't think so, but it's all like do 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 do.
Wait, I'm trying to think of the movie then.
I love that. That made me want to play like a keyboard, and I made my mom get me a little Casio and try to play it.
FX.
Remember the movies? That's where he like did stuff. That's how he got away from people.
Yeah, he like, he did,
Yeah.
like special effects, like makeup and stuff like that. Yeah, I vaguely remember it. My mom wouldn't let me watch it. It was rated. Wasn't it rated R?
Probably.
Yeah. How
That's
did your
before Kim
parents
got
let you
locked
watch
down.
it?
Okay, that took me a good 10 seconds to realize you guys were messing with me, and it's really rude. I just want you to know
What?
that.
We're not messing with you. I'm serious.
No, that it wasn't a popular movie. Like I remember it coming out, but I
Okay.
wasn't allowed to watch it. Sorry.
I know now. I'm like, I can look it up.
Linda Helfenstein was not down with
Who did
effects.
it?
Apparently,
Like Hans somebody or another.
Hans Zimmer.
No.
You mean the
I feel like
mastermind
that
of
was an
Miami
Eddie
Vice?
Murphy movie for some
So
reason.
basically, you just heard like a movie with a bunch of techno stuff, and you're like, I can play keyboard.
I can
Well,
push play.
I had only ever heard
Demo.
it played like in Broadway music or in a church context, and that didn't sound fun to me or look like it would be fun.
Right.
But you know, you got like a guy bouncing around behind a keyboard, you know, an 80s synth. Come on.
Heck yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, I can do that. I can't, but I wanted to.
I want to be that person.
You still could.
I did take a year of piano lessons
Okay.
when I was 19, but Sam's better at playing piano than I am, but it's the easiest.
Wait, so we should get you some more lessons, and we can get you a keytar. And we can
Yeah,
play
yes.
dude.
So Brian Brown was the main actor in this show, playing Roland, and Brian Dennehy was in it.
Oh, Brian Dennehy.
Gary
So
Orbach.
I just remember the soundtrack.
She's like, there's a movie.
That's all I remember.
There's so many
We're allowed to
soundtracks
watch
that are better than
movies,
the
you
film.
guys.
It's 86, so you were only 12 when that came out.
Yeah.
I was only 6 when it came out.
Me too. Me too.
Aw.
My mom would let me watch that.
Just
Or 7,
babies.
yeah, but
Babies.
Yeah.
We lads.
And then when I got my Casio keyboard, I rocked out and actually learned the theme from An Officer and a Gentleman. The Take a Look at Me Now. I
Oh,
could
that's
play
a
that.
great song.
Yes.
Nice.
Still never seen that movie either. I've seen excerpts from it. You know, right?
Shocking.
So I feel like we should you and I could we could go down and
We probably
and watch
could.
these iconic movies that we know of. But
Yeah.
all right, we waste no time on FX. Okay. Let's move on. Rebecca, tell us.
Oh, how do you top that?
Number 2.
So
It's not hard.
Oh man. No, my next one. We saw a show. We went and saw The Devil Makes 3 in 2012. You know, that was fine. They did a good job. But the opener the opener we had never heard of, and we just went and just experienced it, didn't really go look them up before the show, and it was Brown Bird. And they had just kind of settled into their 2-person configuration. It was the first time we'd heard of them. And it's one of the most amazing shows I ever saw. It was just David Lamb doing percussion, playing guitar or banjo, and then Morgan Eve was playing mostly upright bass and cello, and they both sang. And it was just the dynamic of watching them play and orchestrate these songs and switching these instruments and playing off of each other was just tremendous to watch. But what was really inspiring to me was how absolutely reserved she was, like in her stage presence, because I'm very self-conscious about the fact that I'm not a very chatty person and, I don't do the stage banter. But seeing her do that with the confidence and with the absolute talent was really motivating for me. It's like, well, I could do that. I mean, she's up there kicking all ass. I could probably kick a little ass too.
I could throw out a few lines.
And their Salt for Salt record had just come out, and I find that entire piece to be just an absolute masterpiece of songwriting and orchestration, and the production of that album is beautiful as well. It's just a fantastic piece. And the first half and the second half, there's very much an A and a B side to it. And the front half of that record, like, there's absolutely nothing in the world wrong with that piece of recording. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So that was definitely a big motivator for me to keep going up on stage and doing this thing and figuring out how to play bass and learn a few things along the way. So
they play 2 instruments apiece. I can learn one.
Right? How hard could it be?
All right, John.
All right. So moving along from Hendrix, all on the guitar stuff, recording all that stuff, I stumbled on, nobody recommended, it was one of those weird, like, you just kind of stumble on it. The band named Government Mule, and it was the 96, 97 time frame, and they had an album out called Mule, and I got it. I was just super, super obsessed into guitar like crazy. And I put this album on, because I knew the guitar player, Warren Haynes, from Allman Brothers. And I put this album on, and I'm listening to the guitar, because that's all I loved. And I heard something happening in the low end. I was like, that bass sounds different. Is that coming from my car or the car next to me? Like, it just sounded so cool. And I turned it up louder, and then I went in to my apartment at the time and, drank some more and turned it up a little louder. And I was like, this is the greatest bass player I've ever heard in my entire life. I bought 3 basses and 2 amps and started buying everything bass. And all I did was play bass for like a year. That's all I did. It was Alan Woody.
Yeah.
And it's specifically the song Mule from the album Mule. And their album Dose is spotless as well. But Alan Woody's bass playing, I was like, that was absolutely huge. It taught me, because I just basically learned every note he played. And then I went out and played in cover bands, and they kept telling me to turn down and to not step so far forward in the mix. And I was like, hey, but me and the drummer are getting it on. We're doing rolls and all this stuff, walking all over the bass and irritating the lead guitar player. It was great. But yeah, so that didn't last long. But yeah, Mule.
All right, Samsonite.
So I'm going to jump through some things. I didn't really start playing guitar because I wanted to, I guess, but it was mostly just due to, we had a high school band and our friend decided he wanted to start playing bass. Like, he had a bass, and I was like, well, I can learn guitar. I was like, guitar, you just take the ring finger and do the 5th, and that's fine. That's all you got to do. For what we were playing, that was all you had to do. You had 2 fingers. And you were there. So I did my 2-finger guitar, and and that was it. Played all this noise, learned to play all these different punk albums and stuff. But jump ahead to my freshman year in college, I moved with my brother and our friend Pete. And I came in, I went out, I would audition for some band, and I was like, so I'm gonna play guitar in a Houston punk band. This is gonna be sweet. And they had a little higher aspirations of talent than what I offered at that point. It's like, look, I can play a bar chord. And they were like, cool, man, what kind of leads can you do? It's like, there were no leads, and all these other bands. Minor Threat didn't have leads, bro. But apparently their band did. And I was like, whatevs. But I went home, and my brother and Pete had just got Trace from Sunvolt and put it on. And I remember laying on the couch, and, it was okay at first. And then, the song 10 Second News started. And when the lap steel kicked in, just that, it was just my stomach dropped. It just felt kind of uncomfortable. And I was like, oh my God, music can make you have a physical reaction. That sound made me feel the hopelessness before any lyric ever got said. I was like, I know what this song's about just from that. I didn't know what kind of instrument made that sound, but I was like, okay, maybe acoustics aren't the worst thing that's ever happened to music. And so right after that, I actually went out and bought my first acoustic. And that's when I really started sitting around writing real songs instead of just everyone sucks, your mom sucks. It was we're going to start playing real. If it hadn't been for that album in that moment, I would not be doing what I'm doing now. So that was my Sunvolt Trace, specifically 10 Second News. All right, last round.
Last round. All right. So I have two options, two paths to go.
No, you only have one.
Well, I'm just gonna put it out there. So one is like something that inspired me probably about at least 10 years ago, I guess. The other one was recently in the last few years. Do you want to go something more recent?
That's fine.
All right. So this is really the artist himself, but this album especially was really great. Inspired me to actually, this is the first time I ever went and bought a specific guitar because of someone, and it happened to be their signature model because I was like, I want that sound. And the artist is Justin Townes Earl. He just has this really great, and it's because he played a lot of parlor guitars, and so it's real boxy, and so I happened to see him. It was a crazy show. He opened up for Social Distortion, and it was literally just him and his guitar. And I was like, I'll never forget because the band was the opener, opening band was like a punk rock band. And then Justin Townes Earl comes out, and I knew the name. I was like, oh, okay, whatever, dude. And I was like, look at this guy. He got some balls on him, And I swear to God, it was the craziest 45 minutes I've ever listened to of music. He had this whole place in the palm of his hand and was just walking us through this, just crazy amount of just thumb picking and playing, you're just like, what the hell? And just his sound. I mean, he was filling this, he was at White Oak, so he's filling the room with his amazing sound. And so, I ended up going and buying his signature model Recording King guitar. And the album that I love of his is Harlem River Blues, and this song, One More Night in Brooklyn. It's just it's a great song. And I actually it's one of those songs I actually went out and learned. I was like, I'm going to learn the song. And I did. And it was,
the song.
and it's like, and then then he dies, and you're like, son of a bitch. And it's but man, you go through his whole discography. He said he was a great, musician, and just he always had that really great tone that I love. And so because of him, I spent a lot of money I didn't need to on another guitar. Thanks, Amber, for letting me buy it.
Man, that's the way it goes. You got to have more. Everyone's got a few songs in it, so you grab one. But I'm gonna pick this around. All right, Kimberly, you are up.
I like that. Everyone's got a few songs in it. This one is, so the other instrument that I halfway play is a ukulele.
You admitted that. That's brave.
I did.
Can I put a guess out there first?
Huh?
Can I put a guess out there what you're
No.
going to say? Okay.
Just shh. This was before I met Sam, so I had not really been introduced to independent music except just from my roommate who listened to a bunch of weird shit. When we first moved in together, 2003, 4-ish, she was really into the Dresden Dolls. And so I had heard everything that they had done, but around that time, they'd split up and she was doing her own, solo thing. And then I think a couple years after that, she came out with a ukulele album. And, she uses her platform to holler loud and, hey, anybody can play. This is the easiest instrument there is to learn. Let me show you. And so she made 1 million YouTube videos. And I was like, well, if I ever pick up anything with strings, it's going to be a ukulele. Because let's be honest, tiny hands. Cannot even wrap my hand around the neck of a guitar. So it was never going to happen.
Now, I remember you even bought a small guitar.
I tried.
Yeah, like a child guitar. You were you gave up pretty quick.
It was a half size though.
Yeah.
Right? But I couldn't even, I couldn't finger the ukulele is much easier.
It's funny, it seems like a 5-year cycle that the ukulele comes back to prominence.
Yeah.
Because it was about a few years ago, kids would be walking in the hallway playing the ukuleles. I was like, where does this come from?
Herpes, it disappears, lays dormant.
I know, dude, it just shows
And
up.
it's portable and they're cheap and they're easy to play. So
I know. Yeah, they're fine. I mean, it's good. It's a good starter instrument. It's kind of like you're only pathetic if you just keep doing that forever.
I feel like that was
No.
I did
It's
not
not you at
across the
all.
bow there.
Savage.
That's not you at all. I'm just talking about people who are like, this is where I'm going the rest of my life.
This is the peak.
It's like, cool, dude. Okay. I can shred on one. It's like, yes, the bottom 4 strings of a guitar. It's not that impressive. That's where everyone shreds.
And I'm like, what? That's the bottom 4
And you're already
strings of the
capoed
guitar?
5 if you're on a uke.
Yeah.
You're capoed up already.
You don't even have to go up, man. You're just like, you're already there.
Freaking musicians. Just whatever.
All right, but anyways, no, it's like play a lead, say I'm like, burn, and it's like, but I'm talking shit about other people.
Oh, it's easy to talk shit though.
It's just, well, it's one of those things. It was kind of impressive. So you're like, till Kim got one because I never had a ukulele, and I was like, wait, it's just the bottom 4. I was like, how are these chords all look so strange? I'm like, wait a minute, these are just regular guitar. This is just Yeah, capo 5
It's
guitar.
what they say I'm wrong. Here's my G chord. It's like, it's a D chord. Like, it's always backwards. I'm like, no.
That's why I finally got so angry. I was like, here, Kim, I bought you a baritone ukulele. You play real chords. Play like down the correct
But I already
pitch.
learned the regular ukulele chords, and I can't do the math fast enough in my head when I'm playing.
Learn your pitch. God damn it. No, but
Transpose is hard.
I'm trying.
Oh,
I'm
to me,
still
they're
trying.
just two different instruments.
Yeah.
They're
That's
just
cool, man.
different
It's like-
instruments with different chords.
Yeah.
all right, Rebecca, let's do this.
Oh man. Well, I had something already lined up, but Kim, you inspired me to be another advocate for the ukulele
You are a fellow uke player.
with small hands.
Yes.
It's Valerie June, 100%. The
Really?
song was Love Me Tenderly, and it was a video she did. I think it was Newport or South by Southwest. It was a casual little video. I don't know that she's ever even put that song on a record, but she was playing a banjolele, and I didn't have any experience with the uke at all. I heard that song, fell completely in love with it. Just, I mean, that song ripped me apart instantly, and that's the best kind of song. And I loved the banjolele she was playing, and I was like, I want that instrument, and I want to play that song, and I did that exact thing. I found
Really?
it. It's got a tiny little 6-inch head on it.
Oh my
It's
God.
just a delightful instrument. It's my
Have I never
favorite.
seen it? It sounds adorable.
It's my favorite thing, and it's got this great, rustic look to it. It's just wonderful. It's not worth a damn to play out live,
Yeah.
but I love to sit around with it. It's just the vibration and the liveliness of this instrument is delightful. And that was the first song I learned on the ukulele, and I was so proud of myself. Like, I'm doing it right. It's like I nailed it, and I don't know, that fueled me exploring other ukuleles. I love the tenors, and I love the tenors with the low string instead of the high one, and it's so sad. It's just so
wistful.
tragic. So yeah, Love Me Tenderly, Valerie June.
Nice.
All right.
Let's go
John,
look at
we're
that
up
on
to you
YouTube.
now, good sir.
For me, I think I'm going to go, I have a couple of paths like Health did. But I think I'll go modern, more modern-ish, I guess. So kind of like, traditional like electric guitar and electric bass. I'd been doing all the traditional full band stuff for a long time. And I started getting into North Mississippi Hill Country blues, that style specifically. And I was into this dude named R.L. Burnside. And I was like, oh, I like R. He's funny. He's hilarious. And he says all this crazy shit on some of his albums. It's great. And so I was at work, at my NASA job. I work in multimedia. And I worked with this dude named Jeremiah. And I was like, Jeremiah, because we always used to talk music, and he had toured and whatnot. And it's like, Jeremiah, I listened to this crazy song by R.L. Burnside. And Jeremiah was like, oh, that's cool. Hey, my old roommate, he's a dude that used to make up his own beats and say crazy shit too. You want to hear his music? I was like, yeah. What's his name? He's like, Scott Byram. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I wrote it down. It's like, I'll look this dude up when I get home. So I go home, get the album, Dirty Old One Man Band. It hadn't been out long. And I played it and I was like, actually, what am I hearing? This is fantastic. At that exact same time, we had just met and had a rehearsal and a date with a bottle of coconut rum
Oh.
that same weekend in Francisco's. It was-
Yeah, I don't remember why we were
I don't
at
even know why we were there.
Francisco's, but like Kevin was there and the other Rebecca was there, and I don't know why we were at Francisco's. Nobody else was there.
Lots of fun stuff happened that night that I'll just gonna not say anything about. But let it be said that like Scott Byram, Dirty Old One Man Band, if I were to pick one song, probably Hit the Road. That song and that amount of alcohol and meeting Rebecca was like, we can do something totally different than a full band. We don't have to do it
That
the
was a
same.
huge influence to us, like keeping
Yes.
this as a two-piece and deciding we weren't going to be an acoustic duo
Playing
anymore.
something with your foot
yeah,
and all that stuff.
The whole
Like,
foot
it's-
percussion came
yeah.
from that.
So y'all were like, cool. So that's the first time y'all really like hooked up. And then like,
Yeah.
Why do you got to make hand gestures?
I don't think that happened.
For the
Like
radio
they played,
audience.
they played checkers together. That's all sweet.
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
that was the
love
night
that.
John lost his
King me.
virginity and also,
Over and over again.
and then also decided that they were going to be a duo and rock. So that's it.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Duo and rock.
That's great.
What do you got?
Nothing that good.
No?
No, but it was. I'm not going to go. Real quick. Scott H. Byron thing was great just because we used to play his place in Beaumont, the Vortex, old punk band I was in. I kept seeing flyers for him. So he played Beaumont a lot back when the Vortex there for some reason. And I was like, his flyers just look cool. I was like, this dude's playing next weekend. Like we played on Saturday and he played there the next Saturday. I was like, we're going. So we just drove to Beaumont to see Scott H. Byram. And man, he just absolutely killed. And this was like I think it was the tour for Graveyard Shift. And I was just like, dude, this guy just destroyed the place.
Well, that was one of those shows that you made sure to take me to as soon as he came back through. When we started dating, you're like, we got to go see Scott H. Byron.
So to go into my last album, I could go through, like I say, there were a lot of punk bands to listen to, things that got me, play, like I said, in high school, like Dead Kennedys were huge, Guitar Thing, Minor Threat, things like that. But by my mid-20s, I'd already we had 2 kids, got married, full-time job. I was like, I'd pretty much given up on playing music. I had this old beat up Horner acoustic, and that was like all I ever picked around on. And then I was doing music press stuff at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to relegate myself to a listener. And I got this album came in. It was like black and white cover, just a dude holding a guitar, and it was all this pink stuff on it. I was like, never gonna listen to this record. But I just kept finding it, going through drawers and stuff, and we were moving. And finally I popped it in. It was this album called As the Eternal Cowboy from this band called Against Me. And that was the album that within a couple months, I was like, it just got me. Dude, I'm gonna start playing music again. This is great. There's some they're using acoustic on stuff, and it's still songs that are used a Rickenbacker, and it was real clean and kind of driven, but it was still punk music, but it was clean. And they had again acoustic. It was I guess they were one of the early folk punk bands. And this was kind of a dividing album for them because they were straight up folk punk before. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Seriously, went out, bought a guitar, started a band again, and have not stopped playing music since.
Nice.
And that was just the hugest record. I mean, that was the one that in my adult life totally changed my life. Wow. So Against Me, As the Eternal Cowboy.
Have we listened to that?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one. There's some really good songs on Reinventing Axl Rose, but I think, they kind of came into their own on that record. So that lineup.
Nice.
So that was it. All right,
that
man.
was interesting.
So we're
I
there.
learned a lot about you guys today.
I think we all learned something today. It's really good.
I gotta watch FX.
I know.
FX.
Apparently, we're going to the Stoles
just
house
do
and
the
watching
soundtrack.
FX.
Here we go.
No,
Just
this
the
movie better be
soundtrack.
awesome.
It's not an. I've
better
never
be
seen
great.
the
It's
movie.
really, it's kind of it was kind of a B movie at the time, but I remember it. I remember it being a big deal. I remember watching it on Showtime or something.
It was because of the special effects that were were ahead of the
he
time.
used special effects stuff to kind of get to do things to infiltrate places and do something. I can't tell you. It obviously was police related because Brian Dennehy was in it.
Right,
But
exactly.
he was the cop. So if Brian Dennehy's in your movie, he's a cop or he's military. That's all he does.
Is it like the precursor to that Dana Carvey movie where he plays am I not turtly enough for the turtle club?
All right, y'all. We're going to probably shut it down right here. In 17 days, John and Rebecca will be releasing Fireball. You can go to their show. It will be at Shoe Shine Charlie's Big Top Lounge, right next door to the Continental Club. The Mighty Orc will be playing with them. You can go earlier in the day to Cactus and get some free beer. Even if you listen to the songs we have on this episode, you're not feeling it. Free beer at Cactus. Come out. You'll see it live. You'll be like, now I'm feeling it.
Now I get it.
And then you can get to the show early and go to Tacos a Go-Go. Get your grub on.
That's right.
It's a great night.
No
Got
reason
lots of
not to go.
options.
So we support this, and we hope y'all support them. And thanks for listening. We'll be back in 10 more episodes with another top 3 list of whatever with someone else. We don't even know yet. But you got 9 more legit interviews coming after this before you have to listen to us by ourselves again or with friends. So
You're
thank
welcome.
y'all, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all, that does it with our 20th episode of Music in the Minor League. Man, we did it. Thank y'all for hanging with us so long. Again, if you like what you hear, share it with a friend. Our listening numbers are going up. That's 100% to do with y'all spreading the word, either the artists we have on or y'all actually telling your friends about us. We really appreciate you taking the time to put it out there. We hope to be seeing y'all soon as we hit the road. If you liked Grifters and Shills, check out their new album. Go pre-save it. Go out to the CD release shows on June 17th. They're going to be great. Cactus Music and Shoe Shine Charlie's Big Top Lounge. And for now, we're going to leave you with a title track from their new album called Fireball. So we hope you dig it, and we will see you next time. Be safe out there, y'all.
You're Rick, run, rat-a-tat, rock and roll queen. Find it, go get your gun. Country back, city back, fancy free and hot like the southern sun. Well, bless your heart and call me. Don't you leave me hanging high. Fireball, hot rod, fast machine, revved up and on the run. Well, but we ain't getting caught. My heart in hell, Southern Belle Show, gonna make that mark. Beat up, broke down, right up the chain, get it all done and do it again. Low down, high life, living the dream, been a pretty man since you were 18. No reason left to stay, go on and go my way. We're gonna kick that to the curb and walk away. Look my way, it's TNT and rocket fire. Keep it coming, come what may. Well, rev that engine, babe. Won't be no easy road. Those turns ahead ain't nothing next to where we're gonna go. No better time for running than right about right now. It's 3, 2, 1, that setting sun. That flag is coming down.